It's been a day of extremely dramatic developments in West Bengal, where we were expecting that Mamata Banerjee and protesting doctors would be able to meet. But instead, we now have a new update for you. Sandip Ghosh, the former disgraced principal of the Arjikor Medical College, where the rape and murder of a young doctor took place, triggering nationwide protests, he has been arrested. This is the news that we have at this hour. Like I said, at a time when the expectation was that Mamata Banerjee and the protesting doctors would finally sit down and be able to start a round of conversations. This after Mamata Banerjee went to the protest site, comes this dramatic update that the CBI has now charged Sandip Ghosh with misleading the investigation and evidence tampering, confirming, therefore, our reporting over a month of a cover up. Remember, earlier the CBI had only charged Sandip Ghosh with financial irregularities, and it was unclear as to how they were going to join the dots between the financial irregularities and the actual rape and murder of the young doctor. Now, a lot has happened in the last couple of hours. I want to welcome to the program Dr. Kunal Sarkar, leading cardiac surgeon, who is with us in the afternoon. Dr. Sarkar, when we were talking, you thought that the impasse might be broken. We'll get in a moment to what happened between Mamata Banerjee and the protesting doctors. But I want your comments first to the news of Sandip Ghosh being charged with evidence tampering, with misleading the investigation. A local SHO, a police officer, has also been charged with a delayed registration of the FIR. We know that Mr. Ghosh was earlier charged only with financial irregularities. What is your first response to this, Kunal Sarkar?
Barkha, the first response is that this entire affair enters a new phase of complexity. It becomes complex for two reasons. One is if you just focus on what was happening with the doctors' movement, the impasse, all the junior doctors striking lock, stock, and barrel, we were expecting that through a bit of magnanimity shown by the chief minister, she visited, that the ice would be broken and some discussions would take place today. Now, I think it went through, as far as the meeting with the doctors' representatives were concerned, it once again went through the well rehearsed stages so far once of your live streaming. I think there was a lot of yes, no, don't know about it. Finally, there was no agreement. Then there was the proposal of both the sides doing simultaneous video recording. Even that was sort of, there was no to that as well. Then I think the youngsters agreed to the government side recording, and then the government would release the recording in a pen drive or whatever straight away. The government did not agree to that. They really said that we have to get Supreme Court's concurrence to release it. And the last, they even went back and they agreed upon the minutes of the meeting being recorded, the minute being minuted, and both the sides would sign on the minutes. And by that time, there was a thin prospect that they would agree on that. But by that time, I think a lot of time had gone through, and the Minister for State for Health apparently said that it was far too late to start a meeting at this stage. So whether or not they had actually agreed to a minuted meeting which could be signed is not clear. Or whether they said no to that as well is not clear at all. So in these three steps, it fell apart. But in the meantime, as you have reported already, you see there are grave implications of Ghosh's arrest and the OC's arrest today. The OC, the police chap getting arrested is still conceivable because there were n number of flaws in the way they recorded the case and everything else. But Sandip Ghosh being picked up directly in connection with rape and murder gives a different dimension to the case totally. Because what it basically does is it really substantiates and validates the one part of the story so far, that the crime scene was actually being tampered by the college officials, etc., etc. So that part of the story being established, now I think that the government will be on a very sticky wicket, because you see the second demand that these youngsters had raised was that the director of health services, the health secretary, they had to step down, because they said that clearly they were involved in crime scene tampering. Now, if Sandip Ghosh crime scene tampering is substantiated by the CBI, it becomes very sticky for the government to say no to the next part of the hypothesis and say that, look, because these three people have their signatures on the order to demolish the buildings, etc. So I really think that apart from an avoidance, that apart from the fact that the government will find it difficult, will find it embarrassing to face up to some of, as we discussed earlier on in the afternoon, that I'm sure the first half of the discussion will not be easy or pleasant for the government. So one part is that. The second part is, I think, strategically, the government is back to the drawing board, trying to take stock that what these three or four arrests this evening actually means to the implication of the case.
Now, Dr. Sarkar, there's one theory, and I can see Dr. Tapas Pramanik also joining us. I think he's a doctor at the RG Kar Medical College, and I think he's on his way currently to the protest site. Dr. Pramanik, I hope you can hear me. I know you're in a car, so we hope your signal stays. One theory, Dr. Sarkar, is that one of the reasons that last moment the junior doctors were told that it is too late for the talks, even though the doctors finally reportedly acceded to the signed minutes and not the videography, is because the news came in that the CBI had at the same time, in parallel, charged Sandip Ghosh in the rape and murder case, arrested a local SHO, accused Sandip Ghosh of evidence tampering and misleading the investigation. And that, as you have just said, creates all sorts of questions for the government, because remember, the government initially protected this man. Now, I want to play out just for a second what Mamata Banerjee, and I'm going to need your help in translating again. This is Mamata Banerjee addressing the doctors outside her residence, explaining to them in the rain why videography in real time cannot take place. Now, do these talks break down over videography, or do these talks break down from the government side because Sandip Ghosh has been arrested? First, let's listen to what Mamata said.
তোমাদের মিসলিড করবো না, তোমাদের কোনো করবো না, তোমরা কেন লিখবে? আমি 2 ঘন্টা তোমাদের জন্য দাঁড়িয়ে আমিও দিচ্ছি। আমার চিফ সেক্রেটারি, আমার ডিজি পুলিশ, আমার আইবি হেড, আমার হোম সেক্রেটারি মন্দিনী, আমরা সবাই ওয়েট করছি। তোমাদের সকলকে ছাতা দিয়েছে এই কারণে যে তোমরা তাদের না ভেজো, এবং তোমাদের বসবার জন্য কাছে অ্যারেঞ্জমেন্ট করা আছে। তোমরা অন্তত মিটিং না করে একটা চা খেয়ে যাও। এসো না, আসছে না কেন, ভেতরে ঢুকছে না কেন? আমাদের শোনো, আমি একটা কথা বলি, তারা তো তোমাদের ট্রান্সফারে পাঠিয়েছি, তোমাদের আসার কথা ছিল 15 জন, তোমরা এসছো 40 জন। একটা লোকের বাড়িতে তুমি বলো 40 জনের কি বসার জায়গা থাকতে পারে? তা সত্ত্বেও তোমরা ছোটরা এসছো, আমি তোমাদের জন্য সব অ্যারেঞ্জমেন্ট করে রেখেছি। প্লিজ এসো তোমরা, আমি তোমাদের অনুরোধ করবো তোমরা এসো। যদি মিটিং করতে ইচ্ছে না করে তোমরা একটা চা খেয়ে যাও, এবং দরকারে তোমরা যারা ভিজেছো, আমার কাছে কাপড় জামা আছে, আমি তোমাদের দিয়ে দিচ্ছি। জামা কাপড় কিছু তোমরা ভিজো না, এটা তোমাদের কাছে আমার রিকোয়েস্ট থাকবে। তোমরা আমার সাথে কথা বলবে বলেছিলে বলেই কিন্তু আমার ডাকা। দেখো, তোমার আজকে কিন্তু অনুরোধ তোমাদের কাছ থেকে এসেছিল, কারণ আমি ওখানে যাওয়ার পর সেখানে কোথাও লাইভ স্ট্রিমিং এর কথা লেখা ছিল না, এবং আমরাও লিখিনি, তোমরাও লেখনি। সেদিনকে তোমরা লিখেছিলে, তা সত্ত্বেও তোমরা তো বুঝবে এখানে একটা সিকিউরিটির ব্যাপারও আছে। লক্ষ্মী ভাই বোনেরা, তোমরা মানুষের স্বার্থে এসো, এবং তোমরা আমার সাথে কথা না বলতে পারো, তোমরা একটা চা খেয়ে যাও। আমি তো তোমাদের বলেছি, যেহেতু কোর্টে ব্যাপারটা বিচারাধীন আছে, তোমাদের মিনিটস আমি করে দেবো, মিটিং এর মিনিটস করে দেবো পুরো। ভিডিওটা আমি আজকে দিতে পারবো না, আমি মিনিটস করে দেবো। ভাই তোমরা ঠিক করো, তোমরা যদি কেউ আসতে চাও আমি সবাইকে বলবো যারা যারা আসতে চান তারা দয়া করে আসুন। তাহলে আপনারা যদি নাই এসে বাড়িতে মিটিং করেন, তাহলে আপনারা আমাকে চিঠি দিলেন কেন, এত অসম্মান কেন করছেন?
So, right, there you can actually hear Mamata Banerjee. Even I was able to translate that, offering signed minutes of the meeting. Initially, the doctors said no. Then we are told, I can also see Dr. Polamy trying to join us. Then we are told that the doctors agree, but they're told that it's now too late. This is all happening at the same time as the CBI accuses formally Sandip Ghosh in the murder and rape case for evidence tampering. Now, Dr. Polamy, do you have any clarity? What happened? Were the doctors told it's too late? Or,
Yes, so
or
first our delegate team reached and they put forward the demand of live streaming, which was
yes,
denied as usual. Then they put
yes.
a demand of videography, which was also denied from our end. Then further to this, then they said ki our representative will be there at the site of the videography and will receive a copy there and then, which was also denied. And then they gave the minutes of the meeting would be uploaded, which would be signed by both parties, which was again denied when the news came in. And so yes, it's a clear clarity that when the CBI arrested, these people probably got afraid and they stopped the meeting from happening.
So you believe that it is not that the doctors said no, the doctors had agreed to the
Absolutely.
signed
Doctors were
minutes.
very flexible with their demands. They had changed the demands time and again, but still they were denied from meeting the CM.
So you believe, Polamy, that because in parallel the CBI had arrested Sandeep Ghosh, the government got cold feet.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There is no other stance.
And are you confirming that the doctors had agreed to the signed minutes?
Yes, the doctors had the doctors front, which which was leading the entire movement. They had agreed to this that they will do the meeting with the minutes signed by both the parties, which was denied again. They were waiting there for 3.5 hours in complete rain, and they were completely drenched. Yet they agreed to the final demand, but they were denied.
So, what is your sense? Basically, you're saying the doctors agreed to the demands of the West Bengal government. It's the West Bengal government that sent you all away.
Yes, absolutely. That exactly that happened.
What do you think is the reason, Polamy?
Like I said, the reason was totally how CBI arrested the two major people out here in this entire scenario altogether. It was Dr. Sandip Ghosh and it was the Tala police OC. Their arrest had probably made the government rethink the entire meeting that was about to take place.
So the initial reports that the doctors had walked away because because the live streaming demand was not met. This is untrue. Can you take us through the sequence from the beginning once? What happened when the doctors reached Mamata Banerjee's residence?
So when they reached Banerjee's residence, it was with one
Yeah.
complete demand that we wanted transparency in the meeting.
Yes.
Transparency in the meeting, as in we wanted live streaming, for which the meeting was cancelled a day before. We had the
Right.
same demand of live streaming because the people leading the movement are answerable to us who are sitting here on the streets for the last 4 days. We wanted live streaming. The people of West Bengal wanted live streaming, which was denied by the government time and again. Still, we chose videography from both ends. We agreed to that, but that was also denied. Then what? Then we agreed that let the videography be from one end, but our representative will be there. Our representative will get a copy right there and then. But West Bengal government right there said that we will get the recording after the Supreme Court has done with all the proceedings. which is probably, I don't know, for an indefinite time, they will not give us the video of the entire meeting.
Mhm.
And then finally, when after 3.5 hours, I repeat, after 3.5 hours of getting drenched in rain, when they agreed that yes, we will participate in the meeting, provided the minutes of the meeting were signed by both parties, that was denied by the West Bengal government.
So you are saying, let me just recap. You have said initially the doctors asked for live streaming. Mamata
Yes.
Banerjee said no. Then
No.
you asked for videography with your video person present. Mamata Banerjee said no.
Yes.
Then they said signed minutes. You all sat in the same room. You agreed to the signed minutes. By the time you agreed to the signed minutes, they told you it's too late.
Yes.
And did they say when they would talk to you again? Did they say when
then
they would
then
talk?
then they were then we were denied. This is the kind of joke the government is making.
Yeah. And you are convinced that this is because of Sandeep Ghosh's arrest.
Absolutely, this was because of Sandip Ghosh's arrest, and for that reason, this entire thing happened. And this also proves how much important our demands are, how much justified our demands are. The government is giving a stamp on that how justified our demands are at this
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah. Now, Dr. Sarkar, Tapas, I'll come to you in just a moment. We have a very clear account of things now. It's very clear to me now. Paulomi has explained it very brilliantly. The doctors asked for a live stream. The live stream was denied. Then the doctors asked for a videography with their own cameraman or a woman present. That was denied. Then the doctors sitting in the rain agreed to signed minutes, which was Mamta Banerjee's condition. When they agreed to it, the Minister of State for Health told them it's too late, please leave. She believes Sandeep Ghosh's arrest in parallel in the rape and murder case, accused of a cover up, accused of evidence tampering, accused of misleading the investigation, made the government get cold feet. We have a very clear account of what's happened. Dr. Sarkar, your thoughts.
Yeah, I think you got it. You absolutely hit the nail on the head, Barkha. But just consider, look at it from this lens, because what actually has happened? Why did the government get cold feet? Because the government was not really approaching this meeting from the agenda, 5 point agenda given by the doctors front. The government oblique Mamta Banerjee had taken a holistic sort of, a kind of a holistic, maternalistic attitude to the whole thing, that look, enough is enough, let's sit down, give me some time, I'll sort it out. It would have probably, there would have been some conversation on that strategy, but that was completely decimated. That plan was completely decimated with Sandeep Ghosh and this police fellow getting arrested, because this now, as of this moment, gives credence to the crime scene tampering the supposition. So the crime scene tampering allegation has just been given credence by the CBI. Now it remains to be seen, because now this will start a domino effect. How will the Calcutta police stand? The grilling, that is the next stage. Now, so just reflect back on the first 3 points that the junior doctors' agenda had given. The first 3 points was all these people, the removal or whatever, the transfer of these Calcutta police and the health service officials were all demanded on grounds of crime scene tampering. And crime scene tampering has just been vindicated by the CBI. So the government really would find it an impossible task to take a goody goody holistic appeal to the whole meeting. Let's not look at these individual points right now. Now that is out of the window. That whole approach will be out of the window now. So I
Yeah.
really think that the government is really sort of back to the drawing board. They are calculating now what happens to the doctors' movement next. I think the government does not have an option right now. I don't think tomorrow they have a very again have a drastic change in approach and ask for another meeting tomorrow. Unlikely. Perhaps They will, as far as the doctor's impasse is concerned, their only option would now be that for Supreme Court, now will Supreme Court appoint a kind of arbitration approach? Because if Supreme Court sadly, comes down with a bit of a, imposition kind of route, which they did the
Yeah,
last time, now you
yeah,
see fresh hell will break loose. Fresh
yeah.
hell break loose.
So it is
So
your feeling, and I can see Paulomi, and and we have other guests now joining us with her. Paulomi, Dr. Sarkar seems to believe that the entire old idea of when these talks will take place is now under a cloud, because the government is now nervous and many things change now. What do you say, Paulomi? Let me unmute you. One second. Let me unmute you. Yeah, now say. Huh.
Yeah, so the government is obviously under pressure because the government was refuting all the charges as seen on the as seen in the Supreme Court hearings constantly from day one. So obviously the government will have to change its stance, and we had a demand of resignation of the CP, Kolkata CP, and along with that the principal, the secretariat of Swasthya Bhavan. So
Yeah.
if and now given that our demands are very much justified, we are also looking forward to as to what government takes as a step to get the doctors out from this protest, and how much are they capable of finding a solution to the deadlock that has already happened, that is already
Can,
taking
can,
place.
can I ask you something? And I know your friend is with you. Let him also pitch in if he wants to. But can I
Yeah.
ask you, when the Minister of State for Health told you that it was too late, did they say come tomorrow at 10 a.m.?
No,
Come tomorrow at.
no.
They gave no
No,
time for fresh
they gave
talks.
no time whatsoever. In fact, I hope you today Mamta was here on our protest site,
I
and
know,
she
I
said
know.
that this is her last attempt to meet us, and
Yeah.
now she has sent us away from the residence, and without any clarity as to when does she want to meet us or when what she wants to do. So there's no clarity from our end as to when is she going to meet us now.
Now tell me, with Sandip Ghosh's arrest, what are you guys feeling? And Tapas, I don't know if you can hear me. Your signal's very bad, so we've been trying to connect to you. But what are you guys, both of you, feeling? What are you feeling right now with this Sandeep Ghosh finally charged with evidence tampering and misleading the investigation? What are your thoughts?
This is a partial win to our movement altogether. Right from day one, we have seen how much of evidence tampering has taken place, and given that this probably the mind behind all of this being arrested, it's a kind of a ray of hope right now. Right now, I was telling Shan that this is a ray of hope that we were hoping for since the last 35 days. The government got frustrated by waiting for 3 hours, they are saying, but we have been waiting on the streets for 35 days today for justice. So
Yeah,
this is a
yeah.
complete ray of hope.
Santhan, you want to add? Does he want to add
No,
something?
I think her question is to Shantanu.
Mm.
Yeah.
No, to you, to you.
Oh, to me, to me.
Yes,
Yeah. So I think this is like a clear admission of guilt from the end of the West Bengal government, right? When you're removing someone who you had defended in the past, it really shows that your movement or the stance that you were defending has been a little shaky. And
yeah,
that, I think, I agree with what Dr. Sarkar said, that it is going to lead to a domino effect. And you see, when you've been drenched in the rain and you're protesting for days on end, something like this is a huge deal. And
yeah.
so when I walked into the protest, I like that I walked in at the absolute right time, and everybody went silent, and they someone picked up the mic, and someone and they went and they said Sandeep Ghosh has finally been arrested for the charges of rape and murder.
Yeah.
Given
And,
sun, huh,
and
good.
Barkha, the entire crowd erupted, and I cannot
I
tell
can
you
imagine. I
the
can
amount
imagine.
of
Okay, we lost signal there. These young
no,
doctors are at the
I
protest site.
actually tell
Dr.
you,
Sarkar, just to explain, they're at the protest site. They're live
yeah,
from the protest site, which is why the signals are going up and down. I'm sure they'll reconnect. But I
I
want you
know,
to, yeah, they're back. You're back. You want to complete your point before I get Dr. Sarkar? Go ahead.
yeah.
Yeah,
But we should not let ourselves get complacent with the fact that we
yeah.
have one person behind bars. This movement is still not complete. There are many days left, and there's a long way to go.
Well, there are comments coming in saying, "God bless the doctors for their courage. They're the real Desh Bhakts." So I think there's a lot of support for you all at this time. And another comment says they're drenched. They're not getting proper food. Their lives and careers are at stake as they take on a terrible, corrupted system. God bless them. God bless them all. Another comment says, "Hats off to all the young trainee and senior doctors for standing straight up against power." Dr. Sarkar, the domino effect that you're talking about, it's a very confusing situation. Just when we thought that these talks are going to happen, these talks may not happen at all over again, because the doctors will also be emboldened after this development, right? Let's remember that the protesting doctors are also going to be emboldened. Dr.
Yeah,
Sarkar.
actually, it completely vindicates, I think, three and a half out of the 5 point agenda that they have already given. Perhaps four out of the
Yeah,
5 points
yeah.
are straight away substantiated. I honestly think, the government has a lot of homework to do, a lot of, they need to put the best thinking caps they can find on for tonight. Because look, the government is faced with the problem not only to mount a kind of defense for the criminal and these criminal case defense. But the real challenge in front of the government is to get these youngsters back to work, to get, by their own admission that the hospitals services are getting compromised by their own admission. So it is, the onus is now squarely on them to get these youngsters back to work, which they
Yeah.
absolutely must. So I really think that this current policy, that chief minister came with a humane face, I think everybody liked it. There was definitely an approach to have a kind of holistic, kind of look, let's not get into the details, I look at it, you people get back to work. That did not sound too obtrusive, that approach. But given the incidents of this evening, I don't think anybody in their wildest dreams put two these events together. And once you put these two events together, I really think the government approach collapses right now. The government
Hmm.
really has to abide by the 5 point doctor's demand given to them. And by intention or default, if the dominoes goes on falling, then I think all these people they have mentioned in their 5 point program, all the wickets would have fallen before the middle of the week, because if this is the way things are going on, then, and the government's first priority, CBI has the ball in their court for the crime part of it. The government's onus being on healthcare and hospitals, the government will again have to replan their approach some way or the other, approach the youngsters, because on paper, you see, even a more stricter imposition from the CBI on the Supreme Court on Tuesday is a possibility. But if that happens, the situation is murky enough. That will make it even more turbulent. So I hope that doesn't happen. If Supreme Court has half a door open for them to open an arbitration route, they should at the quickest, because the government really, I think, has not had a good day as far as the criminal defense is concerned. The government's focus should come back to healthcare and find the best user friendly solution they have to satisfy the doctor's agenda and get these youngsters back to work and the hospitals back to normal.
Now, I want to take last comments from both of you. I know it's late at night, but the news was too critical, so I disturbed all of you. Dr. Polamy, you have confirmed to us, and I'm repeating it for anyone who's just tuning in. Yes, initially the doctors insisted on live streaming. Mamata Banerjee and her team said no. Then you insisted on videography. Mamata Banerjee and her team said no to having your representative there. Finally, the doctors agreed to meet the chief minister only with signed minutes which would be signed by both sides. And at that time, you were told, bye bye, Tata, go home, right?
Yes,
Because
yes,
that
absolutely.
coincided with Sandip Ghosh
With
getting
Sandip
charged with
Ghosh's
evidence
arrest.
tampering.
This is not a coincidence for sure, Barkha, I would say.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I think
So
I
now
just I
what?
just I just add
Yeah,
one
you want to add
single
something?
thing.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
She invited us in for a cup of
No,
chai.
no, Paulavi, this is a coincidence. I don't think anybody had even imagined this going to happen today. Nobody had imagined.
Yeah, the ghost thing.
Nobody
Yeah.
had imagined.
But go ahead. You were telling us about the cup of chai,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah, she said, sorry, we can't meet any of your demands, but why don't you come in for a cup of chai?
And by what she meant by transparency was come and sit with me for having a talk about the entire thing, and you can walk off from the meeting anytime you want. That is the kind of transparency that she expected from us.
So can I ask both of you what are you thinking now? Because I'm sure the Sandeep Ghosh being charged with evidence tampering, it basically vindicates everybody, all of you who said there was a cover up. It also shows that Mr. Sanjoy Roy could not have acted alone. Whether he was the only rapist or not, I don't know. But that there were attempts to protect him, this arrest prima facie makes clear, right? So, in a sense, it vindicates your larger argument. And let us also remind our audience at this time that this Sandeep Ghosh did not lose his job. He was
He
transferred to
was
Calcutta National
reappointed as a
Medical
principal.
College.
Yes.
And the TMC sent a state minister and a legislator to persuade Calcutta National Medical College students to accept him. It took the Calcutta High Court to get him sacked, right? So now, as Dr. Sarkar
Yes.
says, some domino effect is going to happen. What are the doctors thinking right now? What are you guys thinking about? Follow me?
We doctors have only one stand clear right now. Till our 5 point demands are met by the government, we are not going to join back. We have to make sure that our workplace is safe, that we can work without any threat syndicate hanging over our heads. And we have to make, since the government is not trying to protect us, we have to protect ourselves. And for this, the movement has taken place and it's going to reach till the end, till the point we have met all our 5 points demand.
Dr. Sarkar, briefly, what happens now? Very different ending to
I
this day than how
honestly,
it
I
began.
honestly, Barkha, I think it's a very, very, it's a very spinning track, a tricky wicket, whatever you say for the West Bengal government right now. And I really think they will have to submit to their fate and destiny as far as the criminal investigation is concerned. They
Yeah,
have to get back to the drawing board with the doctors demanding satisfied.
we lost Dr. Sarkar there, I think. Dr. Sarkar, are you still there? Well, he's saying it's a very tricky moment for the West Bengal government. I want to give Polami and the doctors the last word, but this should show an image. This is what the doctors have been talking about. If you have a spine, show it. If you don't have a spine, grow one. This is what the doctors had presented to the police chief. Dr. Sarkar, we lost you briefly. I'm going to let you complete your point. You're back with us before I give the junior doctors the last word. Dr. Sarkar, go ahead. Dr. Sarkar?
I just think, Barkha, I think the government should make matters less complex. They will have a lot of headaches of their own, but let them go back and focus on the hospitals, healthcare, and the doctors' issue. They will have to have a meeting again and get the doctors' demand satisfied to the best they can and get the hospitals back to normal.
Guys, I'm going to give you the last word. What do you want to say to everybody watching this and everybody across India?
The same thing that we've been saying for the longest time. We're ready to join work as and when we'll be required to. But I think the demands that we've put forward should be met first and not the other way around. We don't want assurances, we don't want promises, we want action. And it's already 35 days too late for that action to have happened. But we have faith in the criminal justice system. We hope that one rung has fallen, many rungs are to fall, and we hope that justice prevails somehow or the other.
And
Well,
I would like to add,
yeah,
2019
yeah.
we had a similar kind of a deadlock with the government, which was assured, where we just got assurances and no actions. But we will make sure that the 2019 thing is not repeated in 2024.
Well, it's been a hugely dramatic day. It began with Mamata Banerjee going to the doctors' protest site, the doctors agreeing to meet her, then them arguing over the terms, finally, the doctors agreeing to her terms, and then suddenly she says, please leave, it's too late. And at the same time, Sandeep Ghosh, the disgraced, and dare I say, I use this word very rarely, evil former principal of the Arjikor Medical College, taken into custody not only for financial irregularities, he's already in custody for that, but with new charges of misleading the investigation and evidence tampering, something that the junior doctors have been out on the streets saying from day one. So they really stand vindicated today. And as Dr. Sarkar says, the government is really in a very different position from where it was in the morning. Let's just say that. We leave it there. More power to you guys on the streets fighting the good fight, and to your seniors for defending you. We'll be tracking this very, very carefully. Please keep us posted. Good luck. Stay safe.
Thank you.
And get some dinner at least tonight.
Good night.
Take care and see you soon.
Yeah,
See you
bye-bye.
soon. Bye.
Good
Bye.
night. Good night.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust